The caption says she literally melts down. Judge issues 7-day eviction.
He controls the building. I can't
Where do
say
you
whether
go when you
Miss
don't
Green.
have nowhere to go? Where do you
I'm not
go?
sure, Miss Green, and it
Now,
breaks my heart. But let me just tell you, there are people in tough situations on both sides. If you think about it, you're saying, let me stay here because I don't have any place to go. But what you're doing is denying Mr. Patel money that should be going into his business or to his family because you're saying, I'm going to just
Yep.
stay in. No, no, listen to me.
what about what he
Listen,
scammed from us, ma'am?
listen to me. You're saying I deserve to stay here because I don't have any place to go, but you're denying the fact that he bought this business to make money and to support himself and his family. And you're denying him that money because you don't have any place to go. That's not it. You are responsible for yourself. Your grown son is
She's talking about where do you go when you don't got no place to go? Like that's supposed to be other people's problem. Ma'am, you've never seen a homeless person before? Ma'am, you've never seen a homeless person before? I'm pretty sure when you saw them, you didn't adopt the same philosophy and then open up your home to them, did you? Sometimes you see homeless people with their kids sometimes. I'm sure you didn't open up your home and allow them to come stay with you. Where do you go if you don't got no place to go? If you don't pay him his rent, he can't pay his rent, and then he could end up not having no place to go with his family. What? I tell you, man, some of this logic that people try to induce on others to where there is no logic and is really just based off of them not being able to see past their own selves and sympathize with other people and what other people may have to deal with and be responsible for. But you're grown and everybody's supposed to consider you when I doubt you're doing everything in your power to make sure that you can get them what they're supposed to get so that they can handle what they need to handle.
to go, but you're denying the fact that he bought this business to make money and to support himself and his family. And you're denying.
And y'all, real quick, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and it's only a click. And if you're here anyway, you might as well click the like button. And also, if you could hype.
Him that money because you don't have any place to go. That's not it. You are responsible for yourself. Your grown son is responsible for himself. You are not Mr. Patel's responsibility.
Her grown
You are
son.
not. And I as
So it's you and your grown son? See, just let it go on long enough. There's other circumstances that we don't see. But it's her and her grown son. And they can't find a way to come up with whatever the rent is.
heartbroken as I am that you are in the situation that you're in, that is not Mr. Patel's responsibility. If you believe he's done something wrong or criminal, you have avenues for that. You can sue civilly, you can go and pursue criminal matters, but this is not the way you address that. So at this time, because you have not given me anything that shows you have a legal right to possess the property, at this time, the court is going to grant Mr. Patel the $9,653.05
Ooh.
of the judgment that he obtained from magistrate court. I'm going to affirm that judgment, and I'm also going to give him a right of possession, a writ.
So let me get this straight. You see how this just keeps going on? And the more information we get, at least me personally, the less sorry I feel for this lady. And the more I feel for the landlord. Is you and your teenage or you and your grown son allegedly staying in that home. And you want to talk about where do you go when you don't have no place to go? Ma'am, you've been living for free up until the point allegedly to where you owe this man almost $10,000 that he's probably never going to get back and never going to see back. He's never going to probably be able to recoup that because you're never probably going to pay that, especially moving forward. And you're only going to be focused on your next situation, the next thing that you have to do for you, but you're not going to still be thinking about this person that you owe that you slighted before. And funny enough, even if we take it down to a spiritual level, things aren't going to probably carve out the way that you want it to carve out, and it's because you're still going to owe this person, and you don't have no intention to probably make it right. But 10 grand, you've been living for free up until 10 grand. So why don't we just go ahead and consider it like he already has done you a philanthropic act? He already has done you a service because you've been living for free for all this time. And in my opinion, you don't have any excuse. There's two able-bodied people in that home that could be working, coming up with the money. So what more do you want at this stage?
Mr. Patel, the $9,653.05 of the judgment that he obtained from magistrate court, I'm going to affirm that judgment, and I'm also going to give him a writ of possession for 7 days from today. Okay?
How's she
So
gonna
you'll
react to
have
that?
7 days to vacate the property.
He scammed us out of money, and that's one of the reasons why we couldn't.
Miss Green, unmute, officer. Let me hear her. Miss Green, I'm sorry for the situation you are in, but ma'am, that's not Mr. Patel's responsibility.
Yes,
And if
he scammed us, ma'am.
But then that is, then you go to the police and pursue a criminal action.
I've
But you don't
done that.
stay in
I've
his
done that.
property.
I have a case number
Okay, that's fine.
240-66962.
Then
I've
you
done
pursue
that. Yes,
Okay, but that doesn't mean you get to stay in his property.
ma'am. We have been taking so much from this man. It seems like he's getting away with all these crimes, and nobody seems to care about what it has impacted our household income and why we couldn't pay to stay over there because he took so much from us from the get-go. He's done this in the broad daylight, ma'am. I'm not lying to you.
I'm not saying that you are, Miss Green. What I'm saying to you is, in the context of an eviction, those are not things I can consider. He controls the building.
He scammed you how? Listen, it's always something once we get here. It's always something. Well, so what? You just want to keep living for free? What type of scam did they do to where you feel like they owe you 10 in excess of 10 grand? Because not just that's just where it stands right now. If you still want to keep living there and you still don't want to keep paying, what? Do they owe you 20 grand? Why don't you just go after the 20 grand instead of still trying to live in their home and get your get back that way? If that's what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. But what we see more times than not is that people just can't afford, things happen, or they're just not willing to do whatever it takes, which I would argue in this situation is probably what it is. They're not willing to work as hard as they can to make sure that they can take care of their responsibilities. And then now they have to try to find something in order to scapegoat themselves and in order to justify them not paying what they owe. And ultimately, they're just trying to take advantage to either get ahead, or they're trying to do it out of necessity of themselves because they just simply don't have it. And that's what we typically see more times than not. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's going on in this case. Again, y'all, if you could like the video, it only takes a second and it helps more than you know. The caption says, worrying about being evicted while being a full-time college student is insane.
I'm sorry, but there should be no reason why any college student is worried about eviction. Like, okay, I'm specifically talking about like A&T. If you go to A&T, it's like, you know, how the whole housing thing or whatever, right? There's a lot of students who don't have housing, so they have to be in these apartments that are off campus and they have to pay rent and stuff. And sometimes it's hard for us to even get jobs out here to even, well, for other people, for me, I'm good, thank God. But, like, it's crazy. Like, imagine going to college, taking these classes, trying to get a better education, and then you have to worry about getting evicted. Like, that's just too much to worry about. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but it should.
I think it depends on how you look at it. You see a lot of struggling college students for whatever the reason. And it's always been that way. And it continues to be that way. And in my opinion, it's become a bit of a rite of passage because it does teach you some very important life lessons that I wish more college students carried on after the fact. But a lot of times what happens when they get out here, but I guess because of how difficult it might have been for them in college or maybe might not, they don't really take a lot of initiative. And I'm not speaking in general. It really is on a person to person basis. But I would say that they don't necessarily show anything typically that would stand out from another person who might have just been getting experience and still dealing with these same things, but just got in the workforce and didn't try to go get a degree. But what it should do is because you have the stress of going to school and keeping up with your grades, as well as trying to manage your finances, as well as worrying about what could possibly happen. Maybe you do get evicted. Maybe you do get that hard lesson. But I feel like it builds character. And it also gives you a frame of reference of a harder time. So when things get better and when things get more smoother, then you can reflect back on it and you can actually feel good about it. And it'll give you that character to carry with you. It's kind of like this, right? I've been at ground zero where I didn't have nothing, where I didn't have nothing, and where I literally had to start from the beginning. I had to start from the beginning and build up everything that I've been able to build up as to this point. But because I have the frame of reference of nothing, even now when I am more sustainable, more stable, it's like, what's the worst you can do? Just put me back to somewhere I've already been before. Now, for someone who's never been there, that could literally be the difference between, I don't want to say life or death, but in their mind, that's how they would take it. It would be like dying a little bit. And you see, people will fall into depressions over going back to that phase or going to that phase that they've never been to before. So I think it's beautiful because it's like worst case scenario, I just go back to where I was. Best case scenario, I'm going to appreciate everything I have much more than another person would. And I'm still going to make sure I keep my character and I stay grounded because I know what it's like to not be here. And most likely for me to get here, I had to develop certain traits, certain disciplines, certain characteristics that were able to get me here. And I understand that if I don't sustain those things, then I can fall back to where I came from. Her caption, of course, it says, please help. But then her description says, I got a letter saying I have to pay this amount or I'm going to get evicted. I don't know what else to do. TikTok, please help me. Let's see.
I need your help. All I need you to do is watch this video for 5 seconds for it to be a qualifying view. I have 4 kids. I have to pay $933, so don't get evicted. The video has to be a minute long. I'm in the Creator Rewards program. All I need you to do is watch this video for me. Boost my video, comment, tell me what your favorite color is, tell me where you're from. Please. I'm stressed. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna reach out to Community Action to see if they can help me. This is back in 2021 and they're just now figuring this all out and saying I'm gonna get evicted if I don't pay this. I'm a broke bitch. I do not have this much money. And I'm not gonna make that much money on DoorDash. Like, help, please. Help me, please.
These people try to guilt trip people into thrusting them into becoming content creators while they create no content and just unresourceful. Ma'am, you couldn't thought of nothing better than that. Basically, to just sit here and say, I just need you to watch this for a minute. I just need you to watch this for a minute so that I can become a creator, even though I don't actually have any content to offer you, anything of value to offer you. Ma'am, you couldn't have thought of something better than that. You could have still told them the beginning story and said, hey, y'all, I need you all to watch this for a minute because this will help me get paid. And I'm about to get evicted and this is how much I owe. But I still wanted to offer some value. At least I want you to take something away from this video. So I'm going to read some quotes. I'm going to read these Bible verses. I'm going to read this transcript, whatever. I have this book of something that I bookmarked that I'm going to read during this period so that you could at least take some type of value away. So if it seems like I'm doing something, this is already so easy to just come online and just try to make money come out of thin air. But I want to be a creator. I want to be in the creator program, but I don't want to create nothing. I just want to guilt you into just sitting here idly watching this video. And then that will generate some income because it'll give me some watch time. If they're going to be having to spend time on your video, you can't just put a little bit of thought, a little bit of effort into how can I still give them something to offer? These are the mentalities of destitution, in my opinion. Always just trying to extract, never kind of trying to see how can I at least offer something? How can I give something of substance? Her caption says, my first time experiencing an eviction.
When I received my first eviction notice, y'all, I'm not going to even lie. I was so nervous because I did not know what I was getting myself into. And no, it wasn't for non-payment of rent. It was because they were not completing my maintenance request. And I was doing a little bit more research, which I'm going to tell you more about. But I was nervous at first. But you right, people be so excited to get something done that they still get it wrong. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what happened to me. Because when I first got the notice, I was like reading. Not even reading it to read it, just reading, just see what it's saying, reading it, and miss where they didn't even say the correct apartment. So I'm just like, is this notice even valid? So during this time, also, I was communicating with the attorney for that property that I was staying in. I was no longer able to speak with the property manager. And I was going back and forth with the attorney because I also came across during my research before I even received the notice that they were inactive, meaning that they were transacting in a state and the LLC for it wasn't even active. And you're not supposed to be transacting, especially a company that makes $1 million, especially these apartments. I'm telling the attorney all these things that I've come across, and they still want to evict us. That's why it's so important to keep your paper trail of everything that you get or whatever you are dealing when you're having communications with an apartment. Anytime you sign a contract, you want to make sure you have all correspondences. Because I knew what I was talking about when I was standing on business, even though I was a little nervous because even like the day of the eviction, because I even had to go to court, but didn't even need to because we settled that. We got that handled, okay? Because I knew what I was talking about. And you really got to know what you're talking about when, you're dealing with these apartments. You can't be afraid, especially going into these courts, because these courts is full of trickery. If y'all want to learn more on how y'all can take on y'all eviction, not be afraid, no.
Getting evicted in Hawaii is so hard because you have to have good credit.
Of my house is going through a hard time. I just got evicted out of my house that I lived at for 4 years in Mililani. I live with my older sister. It really, really sucks. Well, we got the text like a week ago. We did have a cat, and the lady found out about it, and I know it's wrong on our part. But that was kind of the reason why we've been trying to get out of this place for kind of a long time, though. It's out.
Well, no, don't save face now. Don't save face now. That's a dumb reason to get evicted. You're about to get an eviction on your record because you decided to get a cat, even though you knew that would be breaking your lease terms. And now it's like, oh, well, we were trying to get out of it anyway. Really? Well, let's see how you're going to be able to navigate this because that was dumb. You need a cat so bad. They'll take these chances with these cats. They need that support animal so bad. They'll take eviction chances, under a bridge chances, just to have their cat. Ma'am, is she single? Will you take these type of chances to have a man?
Dated. There's a lot of things that are wrong with it. But we're about to move back in with my parents that live up the road from us. There's no room. There's only a 2-bedroom. My little brother is taking over the other bedroom. The really, really sad part about all of this is my credit report is just so bad. Like, if anyone is watching this and they are building their credit, like, just always make your payments on time. And I had 2 charge-offs from like 4 years ago almost, and basically it's hurting my score so much. Not the score, actually, it's really just like so bad looking on your credit. And now I'm like literally feel like I'm losing everything. Like, the fact I have to move back in with my parents is really, really sad, because I love my own space. I work really hard to be independent. And my sister, she's my older sister, and
No, ma'am. You don't love it that bad. If you loved it that bad, you wouldn't have took the risk. You wouldn't have played a stupid game and then won a stupid prize. How you say you love it that bad? It's like me. I love my freedom very bad. That's why I don't commit crimes. And that's why I'm not in jail. You wouldn't violate if you needed your space that bad. It sounds like you might have took it for granted. You took it for granted. And you thought that this couldn't happen. But you knew it could happen. But you thought it was worth it anyway. You loved having a cat more than you loved having your own space. And that's what has been revealed. And now you got to end up back at your parents. You're saying you were trying to get out of there anyway. How are you trying to get out of there anyway if your credit's shot and you were going to have to end up with your parents, which you don't want to do? That's why I said she was saving face. Ma'am, you were just happy where you were. You just made a dumb decision. And so now it seems like a little bit of ego preservation. No, you don't need ego preservation. You need to actually understand what you did wrong. You need to accept it. Maybe there is some type of way you can resolve it. But if not, you still need to understand it and accept it and reflect on it so that you don't make this bad decision again moving forward.
we both have really good jobs, but we both don't have the best credit. And the charge-off stays on your report for 7 years, and there's 2 of them. And in the beginning, I knew not a lot about credit. I wish I taught you this. I was just kind of doing my own thing. I swept it under the rug. They are paid off. I'm not in any debt, but we are just so at loss of like what to do, because I don't know. We applied to 3 places and we're just getting denied. We're getting denied, and there's like nothing I can do. Like, I'm like this is so out of my control. And if anyone's going through, financial hardships, like, just never be late on any of your stuff, because it stays on your report, especially a charge off. And Hawaii is obviously really, really strict. But the good news is that God has another plan. Obviously, we were on the verge of getting this really good spot, and like my dad knew the realtor, and she said she didn't care about credit, but then she saw my report, and the charge-offs were like just really bad, and it just wasn't meant to be. And I think the plan is now to move back in with my parents and save a lot of money.
That's what I was
and work
gonna
on my
say.
credit for like
Good.
6 months. But yeah, I just feel like so hopeless because
Don't feel hopeless. Be grateful. See, other people, when they mess up their reputation, if they don't have something, a safety blanket, a safety net to fall back on, they would just end up under a bridge. You get to go home with your parents, and it sounds like your parents aren't even going to charge you. So sometimes when you're in a circumstance and the plan shifts and you got to make adjustments in your life and ultimately in your life strategy, you've got to just sit there. You got to look at the pros and cons, and then you got to make a new plan from there. And it sounds like she has all the ingredients to still be able to make a very awesome plan that still can be something that is able to help her and boost her forward and propel her for when she does get back out here, she can have an even firmer foundation. Save everything. Anytime I go through something, and I won't say it's out of my control, but me having to deal with the consequences are out of my control and I'm going to have to sit with it. I try to see how can I turn this into a positive for me? How can I turn this into a positive for me to where after it's over, after the period is over, I can look back on it and I can say I was better off for going through it. And I'm actually happy that it happened. And so that's how you got to review a situation. So you need to come up with a savings goal to where then you can say, okay, well, I'm actually happy this happened because had this not happened, I would have been paying rent and all and other expenses, and I wouldn't have had this amount of money just saved and ready to deploy for whatever I need to use it for. So you got to reframe it because there's nothing you can do about it at this point. So you got to accept it, and you got to try to turn a negative situation into ultimately positive trajectory and ascension.
It's something that's just out of my control. And I do have a good family that will support me, and I'm really happy it's me and my sister going through this. Um, but at least I have like a place to go up the road from us. Not a room, we don't have a room, but like we'll figure it out. So if anyone's going through this, I'm right there with you. It sucks, but we're gonna get through this day by day.
You'll be all right. This isn't that big of a deal. Sounds like you have a very comfortable situation to go back to. You got supportive parents who are going to help you. And this will also be a good opportunity for you to address your credit because most likely she would have never addressed it. She had to address it because she was forced to have to try to start looking for other places. And it exposed her weak spot, which was her credit. But had this situation never happened, she would have never addressed this. So now she's going to take that period to try to fix her credit, which is something she should have did anyway. And now she knows the implications of her chargebacks or whatever, because had she not learned how big of a problem that was for other people who are going to take chances on you, then who knows? Maybe she would have had other chargebacks because she wouldn't have known how severe the consequences are of them. So I think this could be a great opportunity for her to be able to come out better moving forward. But there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds within this story that she could learn from to one, never do again, but also to correct, which she probably wouldn't have done had she have not gotten that visibility through the experience of trying to go and find another location. So I think we'll leave it there for today. Y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice if you want to hype to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer, fresh video. And then if you all want to become a member of the channel as well, the join button's on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family would come with is you would get badges next to your comments to where it would show everyone that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you would get early access to content and exclusive content that is not available to everyone else on YouTube. So again, join button's on the video. But until then, I'll see you all in the next video.